Today I'm going to change the fuel filter this time around on the 2017 John Deere XUV 590i. This is has the fuel injection and liquid cooled compared to the 550. So on the driver's side, you just flip that up right now, and I'll break this down as I do it so the video's not too long. And I just started, I'm taking off this panel, so I'm going to have to take off the fuel cap, and then I just started with taking off the bolts there. That's a T25 star that takes off all of these bolts. There's some under there, and then we'll show what it takes off after I pop that off. I took off the panel and stuff just to kind of show you, and for the more astute observer, you'll notice that it's sitting in a different spot. One thing you got to be careful when you do take the gas cap off is that one, it's not completely full, and two, that the gator is leaning away from you, not towards you, if you're not on a level surface. So I did change positions and took that off, washed it out so it's clean. And then here is the fuel filter right here. It's got some red clips. Got to be careful as we take these off because they are brittle. So we're going to be taking those two off, and only one bolt will come off. The other will get loosened up because it can just slide right in there. So pretty simple job. Make sure you check your hoses that they're not cracked, need replacing. Kind of thing to keep in mind, if you use ethanol in your fuel, which the previous owner in this one used ethanol and the fuel reeked. So ethanol will eat the rubber in your fuel system. So that's not a good thing to do. And anyway, so just put a non-oxygenated fuel. You won't worry about your rubber being eaten up. And some people will say, oh, well, if you use it up right away. Yeah, but if you don't use it up right away, there goes your hoses. So, all right, we'll proceed on to taking the fuel filter off. Got the clips off. You have to be careful with these clips here. Can't really tell, but that's that one at the end. This one here, it's very brittle. I cracked mine, so I'll have to get a new one on that. But basically, they just kind of, they're beveled a little bit, so they slip around to pop onto the new filter lip there. So you could just pop it back on if I wanted to do that. So you can reuse them, just try not to crack them. I got the other one off fine, but you can kind of see it's just a beveled lip. So you've got to be able to push it out on both sides out, so you can get it to release around that lip there. And then these bolts are 8mm, or you can use 5/16 as well. Okay, pulled the old one off. Notice it's got direction of flow. I know it's upside down, but make sure the other one is the same way. It's upside down because when it goes on, that flow is going to go towards the motor. So it's going to go in there, and the flow pointing towards the direction the fuel is going to be heading. Also, just to kind of show the ease of reconnecting this. So you're just going to take this, remember I said it's kind of a pressure clip. That little thing in there gets pushed out, and there's one on the top side also gets pushed out, so away. It's kind of hard to do. You can get a screwdriver in there, kind of from this side going in, and flip that up, and get those little clips pushed out. So, just gonna put that on like so. Got my fingers getting in the way, hopefully. Voila, nice and tight. Nice and tight, and then I'm going to screw that back on. Okay, now with the screws, it doesn't hurt too. You can see that there. them on with your fingers. That way you make sure you don't strip anything. That's going in. And the top one as well. And then snug them up. Not too tight, don't need to strip anything out. I'm talking to myself, not really to you guys, but yes, also to not too tight so you don't strip it out. Alright. So, then we'll just put the panel back on. Little side note here, I did use a zip tie. This clip here, since it did get a little bit of a crack in it, I still put the clip back in, but to make sure it's held on, that the clip is going around and snugging around it. So the clip's back in, and I just put a zip tie around it, snugged it up so it holds the clip in and so it won't come out. But the zip tie alone is not going to hold it on there. The zip tie is holding on the clip. And again, I will be replacing this. I'm not just going to leave this, but if you get stuck somewhere and you got to wait for a clip to come in, this is an alternative, and we will test that by hopefully not blowing up. But let's just step on the brake. The fuel pump work. Let's go back to make sure we don't have any leaks before we start it. Okay, so fuel pump is pressurized, fuel line is pressurized, not showing any leaks. Don't do that with pop that thing off and have just fuel flowing everywhere. All right, now just to make sure. Put it back together. Got that all buttoned back up. Got all the bolts, screws back in. You'll probably find one on the video that I probably didn't put in. Let's close it up. I'll do an oil change next. And make sure I didn't mess something up. On there, 576 hours and 10,851 miles. Yeah, so, but it's still running. You just got to do your maintenance on it for 2017. And again, oil change is next.